mentioned, if you didn't hear me, that for props this morning, what I'd like you to have is a strap available. So if you don't have a yoga strap, a belt will do, or a scarf, or something that's long enough for you to hold. And we'll be doing some shoulder and chest opening with that. So if you need to take a moment and go grab that, go ahead. The other thing that I'd like you to have is a blanket. So we will be practicing half shoulder stand, half Sarvangasana. And so I would, even if you don't usually practice with a blanket for support, I'd like you to experiment and try. If you know that Sarvangasana is not good for you, then the option will be legs up the wall. So make sure that you have wall space available if you know you'd like to practice that. I did also mention that I have you on a computer right in front of me, but I also have you on the wall through my projector over here. They're really big over here. So when I'm looking this way, I won't have to turn my head to look at the screen. Just know that I'm still keeping you safe and looking at what you're doing. So, oh, BJ, look at that little cutie. So lovely. Okay, so in this comfortable seated position, let's just take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, just releasing whatever it took to get here this morning. Okay. And so from here, to really center and ground this morning, I'd like you to come into child's pose, Balasana or Pranattasana. So come to your most comfortable version. If you need a little support under your knees, if you need space between your knees for support for the low back, or if your knees are too sensitive this morning, come into Uttanasana where you're on your back and the knees are hugged in and you're still getting child's pose. And once you come into child's pose, connect with your breath. So find yourself connecting with a softer, longer, smoother breath as we're grounding and centering in child's pose. And you can feel the floor, the mat, the ground, the deck, whatever it is below you. You can feel that support rising up to meet you. And have an awareness of how you are arriving this morning. So how you're arriving emotionally this morning, what kind of morning you've had. The type of conversations you've had this morning and the mental chit-chatter you have going on. And physically, how you're arriving this morning. And with that awareness, we'll move compassionately through our practice of moving the body on purpose. And we move the body on purpose with our breath to affect our state of mind, our state of emotions, and a chemical shift in the body. So as soon as we start moving the body, physiologically, we create chemical shifts. Okay, so our physical body has a chemical reaction. And in yogic philosophy, we have a subtle energetic body that has something called prana running through it. And instead of a chemical reaction, this is electrical. Often referred to as the light body if you want to visualize light streams like many rivers running through your body full of light. And we move on purpose to get energy, prana, flowing fluidly. I'd like you to gently, if you can, place your hands on your low back. So stay in child's pose, but palms down on the low back. And just see if you can breathe into your hands. So when you inhale, the low back expands and your hands move. And on the exhalation, you feel the release in the low back. So child's pose is an optimal position to get the prana moving through the nervous system. So we're impeding the flow of energy through the lower torso and getting more of a flush through the spine and the major channels here. 2 more breaths here. And then after those 2 more breaths, release your hands, place them on the ground, feel your ground, and gently make your way back up to seated Vajrasana, Thunderbolt, and you can roll over onto your side to Sukhasana, your easy seated pose. Now that we've had just a little bit of grounding and centering, in your comfortable seated position, just allow the palms to rest on your thighs, palms face up, nice tall spine, like there's a sky hook lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, and your sternum, the bone that runs through the center of the chest. We're going to move into a little meditation here using hand mudras, and mudras are energy seals, so if we think of electricity moving through our body, we're moving the electricity in a certain way for a certain reason. So for this morning, we are going to move through the fingertips using a mantra called Sa Ta Na Ma. Okay? And Sa Ta Na Ma means truth is my identity. Has over 84 pressure points in the tongue and the mouth affecting the brain. And then we know that the hands take up the largest amount of real estate in our brain. Okay? So there's a lot of awareness in bringing in. So sitting up tall, palms facing up. You can start with bringing the thumb and the index finger together as you say sa. Okay? And then ta for the middle finger and thumb. Na for the ring finger and thumb. And ma for the pinky finger and thumb. Go back to the index finger and you can keep going. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Inhalation, sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Now whisper it. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Now silently in your head 3 times. And then a release, natural flow of breath, and just aware if you could feel any electrical current when you brought those fingers together. And I'd like to continue to work with the electricity running through the roots of the nervous system or the spine with the Kundalini chimney sweep. So it'll look like this. I'm going to have my arms in cowboy arrest. I'll take a nice deep inhalation and I'm going to exhale to the right. And I'm going to do it 10 times on this side. I'm going to come back to center, take a nice deep inhalation and exhalation, and then I'm going to inhale and go 10 times to the left side. You can go at your own speed. So I like to go quite fast. Perhaps you like to go a little bit slower, but you're moving with your breath, 10 rounds on each side. Cowboy arrest, tall spine. Nice deep inhalation and exhalation. Inhale and begin. Left side when you're ready. When you're finished, palms face down. We'll catch up with you in a minute. Peaceful breath. Aware of any sensations, whether it's physically or subtly. And then from here, I'd like you to make your way up to tabletop, please, hands and knees. So if you need extra padding for your knees, go ahead. Create extra padding. I definitely do lately. I've had sensitive knees. Okay, and the same for wrists. And so right away here, I'd like to come into some wrist awareness and wrist opening. So I'd like you to have downward dog hands, so space between your fingers, moving the shoulders around in circles. So we're shifting the weight over the hands, and you're just feeling into weight in different places on the hands. Go the opposite direction. Yeah, and then come back to center. And what I'd like you to do is to turn your hands out to the side. Okay, and perhaps bring your palms a little bit closer. Yeah, and opening up the wrists in this direction, I'd like you to rock side to side. Yeah, so rocking side to side, noticing how this feels through the wrists, through the hands. Okay, and then gently come back to center. And you can choose to stay right here and move into circles, or if it's available for you, turn your fingertips towards your knees. Hands can come even closer together. And continue to rock side to side, gently aware of how this feels, and it might feel differently between the different wrists. And then I'd like you to take your shoulders in figure eights. That's right, and you'll feel, and if circles work better, that's just fine, but you'll feel different sensations, and you might find that one hand needs to turn out a little bit, it's too intense. Go the opposite direction with your circles or figure eights. Great, and then gently coming back to center, I'd like you to invert your toes. So toes are inverted. I'd like you to lean back, place as much weight as feels safe through the heels, through the toes as we wake up the feet, and then interlace your fingers. And I'd like you to just do the wave. Okay, so releasing through the wrists. Okay, come back to center, and I'd like you to place the awkward index finger, so the opposite one in front this time, and do the wave in the opposite direction. So that's a whole lot of awareness. Yeah, and then gently come back to center. Place the hands back down, let the feet go flat, and love tap. Get the circulation flowing through your feet. So we're getting the energy moving through your feet. Okay? So with the hands outer shoulder distance apart, I'd like you to take them a little bit further in front of you. Okay, and move into dancing cat. So you can take the hips as far back as feels safe, out to the side, around and through. And you just go as deep in your bujang and your back bend as feels safe, and then switch directions as we get some awareness of the spine and the hips, and we coordinate movement and breath. So notice how you created movement and breath. And then gently come all the way back to center. Keep the hands where they are. Inhale, allow the hips to come down and the heart to open in our back bend here. And then exhale, push the sit bones back towards the child's pose. Inhale, come forward. Shoulder blades go back down towards each other as you lift up the heart. Exhale, push back. And keep moving with your breath as we continue to get the fluidity happening in the vertebrae. And to get those little rivers of light moving so that our practice actually doesn't take energy, we gain energy from our yoga practice. Let's do 2 more of these. And after that final one, I'd like you to lower yourself all the way down to prone, but keep the hands where they are. So if you have low back mischief, you can create extra space between your legs. Okay, everybody's tailbone reaches for the wall or tree behind them. Okay, strong hands, and we'll do our cobra rolls. So you can press into your hands, inhale, lift as high as feels safe. The head comes up last. And then exhale, roll back down, and the head is the last thing to come down. Coordinating breath and movement here. And perhaps each time you go a tiny bit deeper, but aware of how you're moving. And we move with compassion. We move with love. Love is always the answer. And two more. And after that final or second one, you can lower your head all the way down to the ground. Yeah. So if you're not practicing twists, you can move right up into a child's pose. For those of us practicing twists, you can take the left arm out in front of you on the floor, right out in front of you, and allow the right knee to slide out to the side, a half frog on the floor. Okay? Yeah, you can inhale that right arm up towards the sky, and exhale, take it all the way back behind you so you're in a spinal twist. Okay? And that left hand can come down and hold on to that right knee. Breathe here. And then inhale, you can take that left arm back out in front of you. Inhale the right arm up towards the sky and unfold flat in your Superman or Superwoman. Okay? Wiggle the hips a little side to side. And then same thing on the other side. Left knee slides open into half frog. Right arm slides up towards the ceiling, and then exhale wide open, and you're in a spinal twist just to release our cobra rolls. If you're in child's pose, nice deep back breaths. Okay. And then inhale, come back to extended prone. Okay, you're super person, because that's what you are. And then hands underneath the shoulders, and everybody can press up to tabletop. Tabletop, hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Okay. All right, so what I'd like you to do here, listen to this one, is I'd like you to bring the right knee through to your chest and take that right leg out to the side. And I'll go this way so that you can see as well. My right knee came in, and then my right leg went in front of my left knee and out to the side. Yeah, and from here, I'd like you to turn as best you can and look at that right hip. Yeah, and then back to center, and just back and forth with your breath, getting into the outer leg lines. And then one more time, come back to center, strong hands. From here, I'd like you to invert the back toes, lift up the back knee, and push the sit bones back behind you. And then I'd like you to bring the right hip down towards the floor, and then inhale back up to center. And keep flowing with your breath. It's a deeper stretch, and if it's too much, by all means, come back down onto that left knee again. All right, lift up the hips and allow that right leg to go all the way back to the left foot so you're in a cross-legged downward facing dog. Pushing the sit bones back behind you. Yeah, and then from your cross-legged downward dog, let's take the right foot back. Okay, so you're uncrossing. You can adjust your feet and hang out in your downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then from here, I'd like to open up the feet a bit more. So come up on your toes as you come into a high plank. And then exhale, push back, heels close to the ground. And just keep moving with your breath here and feeling that weight shift through the hands, just like we did in our wrist openers. So we're warming multi-joints, and we're also getting the fluidity or the electrical system of the body lit up.
Push all the way back to your downward facing dog, pushing the sit bones back, and then exhale, bring the knees back down to tabletop, feet flat. Okay, so from here, let's check out the other side. So let's bring that left knee through and the left leg out in front of the right knee. Okay, and I'll go this way so you can see what I did. Left knee through, yeah. And then you can look towards the left hip. And then come back to center for a side body stretch, and then outer sensations for the outer leg. Okay, and then you can come back to center, invert the right toes, lift up the right back knee, okay, and push back into a modification or form of your downward dog, and drop the left hips as close to the ground as feels good, and then inhale up to center. And you can stay on the right toes. It'll be a bit more intense. Or if you want to bring a little less intensity, then you can roll on the outside of that foot and your hips will come lower to the ground. 2 more lifts here. Okay, and after those 2 lifts, you'll take that left foot back, adjust your feet so the legs are still crossed in your downward facing dog. Pushing the sit bones back behind you, lengthening the spine. Okay. And then release the cross in your legs, traditional downward facing dog. Push the sit bones back and then open up your feet. Come up on your toes into your high plank and then exhale, push back. Now just keep moving with your breath. Opening up here. Okay, and then staying in your downward facing dog, pushing the sit bones back behind you. And from here, I'd like you to really connect with your breath. So perhaps the Ujjayi breath. Okay, knowing that our breath and our mind are connected. When our mind is frantic, we can barely catch our breath. And that prana, this electrical current of life force, rides on the breath, like a surfboard rides on the wave. So our breath and our mind affect our pranic energy. On the next exhalation, walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Hang out in Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. And let the head hang, and you can bend one knee deep, then the other knee deep. Yeah, and then place your hands on your shins. Inhale, flatten the spine, look forward so the head and the heart are in line. Now, and exhale, release. Press through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up and catch the thumbs above your head. Yeah, and so with the thumbs linked, energetically feel like you're pulling the thumbs apart. You'll feel your biceps engage. Exhale, side bend to the right. Nitsambasana, or fountain pose. Inhale up to center and exhale right on over to the other side. Inhale, come all the way back up to center. Exhale, gently release the arms. And your call, you can either place the hands on the low back and bring the elbows closer together or the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Or if it's available, interlace your fingers, lengthen the arms for chest expander. Inhale, lift up the heart. Exhale, pivot up the hips and forward fold. Let the head hang if you can. Shoulders back down away from your ears. And then ground through your feet, bend your knees a little. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, feel free to roll out the wrists and roll out the shoulders. So we're going to continue with stimulating and waking up the subtle energetic system here. So take the right arm out in front of you and we're going to tap. So I'd like you to tap up and down the outside of your right arm. Yeah, and if there's sensitive places, then tap a little lighter. Okay, so really coming into engaging. You can flip the arm and go up and down the inside of the arm.
It was nice to practice this one every single morning. You'll feel the electrical current in a moment. Okay, and then go over your chest, okay? So right along the sternum, that's where your thymus is, and when we tap and stimulate here, we stimulate white blood cells to help fight off flus and colds. And if you're sensitive along there, sometimes it means you're a little bit short in vitamin D, which in the winter most of us are. Let's take the right arm out and tap up and down the outside of the right arm. Wakey, wakey, physiologically and pranically. You can turn the arm and tap up and down the inside of the arm. Okay, and then I'd like you to tap right at the bottom of your ribs. So I'm tapping my adrenals and my kidneys, stimulating here. And many of us who really love taking care of other people can sometimes get low on our adrenals, so tapping and stimulating. And then I'd like you to go down the outsides of the legs and up the insides of the legs 3 times. And then down the backs and up the fronts 3 times. So this particular tapping was taught to me from my Reiki teacher. After those 3 times, come to Tadasana. Yeah, and if it's safe for you, close your eyes, slow down your breath, and feel the electrical currents. Okay, where do you feel it, if you can feel it? Little rivers of light, and the largest 3 main rivers run along right about where your spine would be, the Sushumna, the Ita, the Pingala. Okay, open your eyes, palms facing up, heart lifted. Inhale, take the arms up and gather love, gather light. And then exhale, bring that love and light right down through you. And we're going to do 4 more of these, filling our cups, connecting not only physiologically in our practice, but to the subtle energetic currents of the body, our prana. And prana can be confused with the word breath, but it is so much more than breath. It is our life force. And we want to have that beautiful fluidity and flow of it. No dams, no blockages. And after your 5th and final one, just pause in Tadasana. We'll catch up with you in a minute. No rush. Gathering love and light and bringing it on home. And once you're standing in Tadasana, okay, you can have the thighs engaged, the kneecaps lifted, you can have the sternum lifted up, and the shoulders can go up, back, and down. Okay, so wide open heart, wide open mind, full of light. Inhale, take your arms up, connecting to the divine. Exhale, forward fold, bowing down in gratitude for this moment. Inhale, look forward to the future. Exhale, allow the palms to slide right off your back. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and walk your hands back out in front of you for your downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay. Push those sit bones back to the wall or trees behind you, and then inhale, take the right leg up and see if you can stack the right hip over the left. Okay. And then level the hips and bring the right knee right in between your hands as you shift the weight on your hands. Okay, so inhale that right leg up, stack it over the left hip, and then level the hips. Exhale, bring that knee through. One more time, 3 times in total. And after that 3rd one, bring that knee through as you shift the weight on the hands. And you're in Anjanasana or lunge pose. Okay?
Come up on your fingertips, lift the heart, lift the head. Okay, and then exhale, take the arms back behind you, palms face down for shoulder rotation. And then inhale, let's lift the torso and lift the hands. Okay, connect with your breath. Allow the right hand to take hold of the left wrist. And then we'll lean on over to the right, getting into those left hip flexor muscles. So you're aware of what you're doing physically, you're aware of how you're breathing, and you're sending light, little rivers of light. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, allow the hands to come back down on the ground. You can choose to pause here if you're not twisting, huge hip opener. If you would like to twist, plant that left hand and inhale the right arm up towards the sky. Pause here, gaze point can be at the floor, out in front of you, or up towards the ceiling for extra challenge. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, take that right hand down on the inside of your foot. Walk your hands to center as you pivot on your feet into Padottanasana, your wide-legged forward fold. Okay, so wide-legged forward fold. Bend one knee deep, bend the other knee deep. Okay, just going side to side, continuing to warm up the knees and the back body. Feeling the weight distributed through your feet so the sides of your feet are in line with the short edges of your mat. And you can gently press down through the outer edges of your feet, creating health and support through the inner arches of your feet. Okay, so from here, I'd like you to walk your hands to the back of your mat. So you're in a lunge here, you pivoted on your feet. And you'll move into your hip flossing where you'll bend that front knee as deep as feels safe. And then straighten that leg to the best of your ability. Moving back and forth with your breath. Okay, noticing how that feels. And one more hip floss here. And then from your hip floss, I'd like you to pause with a deep bend in your knee, 90-degree angle, and spin and anchor your back foot. Right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale, spin, come all the way up to warrior 2. And I'll go this way so you can see. Warrior 2. Stack the shoulders over the hips. Energetically feel like you're ripping the mat apart between your feet so you can feel your foundation. Okay, and then flip the front palm and exhale, slide back into your exalted warrior. Aware if you've got low back mischief to move with compassion and tenderness. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, angle pose. Front forearm goes to the center of the thigh and you can extend out over your ear if that's safe for you. Connect with the breath. Inhale up to warrior 2. Spin the front palm. Exhale back to exalted. Inhale to warrior 2. Exhale into your angle. Keep moving with your breath rhythm. Noticing how the breath feels, how the body feels, and go one step further. Do you feel electricity, light energy moving through you? One more time. And then you can come back to warrior 2. And from warrior 2, you can straighten that front leg. And then pivot on your feet so you're back in your wide-legged forward fold. Hands on your hips, engage the thighs, pivot at the hips into your forward fold, and hang out here. Okay, so if you can plant your hands on the ground, have them on the ground. If you can walk your hands back in line with your feet, go ahead. If the crown of your head makes your way to the floor, great. If you want to come up into your headstand here for a moment, great. We're holding for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Inhale, And then exhale, walk your hands to the front of your mat as you pivot on your feet and you're in your lunge. Step back through vinyasa. So you step back through a plank, lower push-up, upward dog or bhujangasana. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. Pushing the sit bones back behind you, lengthening your spine, connecting with your breath. So chances are you can start to feel warmth in the muscles, in the tissues, in the breath, and in your electricity in the body. Inhale, take the left leg up behind you and stack the left hip over the right. Okay? And then we'll come into our flow here where you can exhale, square the hips, bring the knee to the center of the hands as you pivot the weight on your hands. Inhale, shoot the hips back, stack the hips. Exhale, square the hips, bring the knees through. One last time. And then you can bring that knee all the way through as you shift the weight on your hands. Come up on your fingertips, lift your heart, lift your head. Pause, breathe, feel. Exhale, take the arms back behind you, palms face down. Inhale, take those arms all the way up. Plug the shoulders into their sockets. Left hand takes hold of the right wrist. Exhale, lean over to the left. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, allow the hands to come to the ground. You can pause here if you're not twisting. Otherwise, keep that right hand on the ground. Inhale the left arm up towards the sky. Holding for 3, 2, 1. Everyone places the left hand on the inside of the left foot. Spin and anchor that back foot as you pivot on your feet and walk your hands to center for a wide-legged forward fold. Bend one knee deep as feels safe. Pause for as long as you want to pause. Okay. Making sure you do both sides. And you're checking it out. How do you feel? Can you visualize or imagine little rivers of light moving through you? And through our movement, we're cleansing them. And we're allowing blocks to move. Come all the way back to center. Walk your hands to the back of your mat as you pivot on your feet. Okay, and you're in your lunge at the back of your mat. And then move into your hip flossing as the front knee bends as deep as feels safe. And then you straighten that right leg to the best of your ability. Moving with your breath. Aware of how the hips feel. 2 more times here. And after that second time, you can keep a 90-degree bend in that right knee and then spin and anchor the back foot. Left arm forward, right arm back. And then spin, come up to warrior 2. Take a moment if you need to make any finer adjustments to feel stable and strong from the ground up. Spin the front palm, exhale, lean back. Inhale, come to center, warrior 2. Exhale into your angle. Yeah, and just flow with your breath and see if you can find the beauty in it. So Rumi says, be the beauty that you love. Okay, and when we're connected to what brings us joy, those little rivers of electricity and light flow through us. These stronger currents. It's a higher vibration of energy. Joy, love, and light. One more here. And then you can come back up to your warrior 2. You can straighten the front leg. Pivot so that the sides of the feet are in line with the sides of the mat. Allow the arms to come back down. Either hands on the low back or chest expander. Inhale, lift up the sternum. Exhale, pivot at the hips and come into a forward fold. Easeful breath here. Keep that sensation of gently pressing through the outer edges of your feet. Big toes pressing down and back, lighting up the pelvic floor. And then exhale, release the hands to the floor if they reach. Okay, and find the place where you can be, where you can breathe. Okay, if you'd like to bring your crown of your head down, if you'd like to go into headstand, by all means. Holding for another 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Everybody gently walks their hands to the front of their mat as they pivot on their feet into their lunge. Step back through your vinyasa, your plank, lower push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Pushing the sit bones back behind you, lengthening the spine. Connecting to your breath. And aware that you're connecting to your physical body, your breath body, your mind body, higher mind, and bliss body. And that we're lighting things up with electricity. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward, and listen to this. Step or hop your hands to the outsides, or step your feet to the outsides of your hands. Okay, so Malasana, squat pose. Yeah, and so for squat pose, you can bring your hands together if that's available. And you can have the upper arms and the knees resisting against each other as you lift up your sternum. I like to gently rock a little. All right, so this is where I've been having some super fun lately, and I hope you can have fun with me too. Plant your hands on the ground, lift up the sit bones, and then roll up your mat. Now, I need a pretty big roll, so I'm actually going to step back a little bit. You might not need very much roll at all. Okay, so then what I'd like you to do is take your feet, so your heels are on the roll. Outer hip bone distance apart, but have the feet parallel. So they're not going wide, and chances are they were wide in your Malasana. I'd like you to try to keep the feet parallel as you come down into your Malasana. And for me, it really helps to have a roll on the mat so I don't have to be up on the toes. Nice. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift up those sit bones. Walk the feet back if you had a roll. Unroll it. And then walk yourself up to the front of your mat. Hands to your shins. Inhale, flatten the spine, look forward. Exhale, release. Press to your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, bring the hands into your heart. So Anjali Mudra, a mudra is an energy seal, so we're recycling that energy around on purpose right at our heart center. We're going to move into a little balance sequence, and I'm going to demonstrate it on express mode. So I'm going to ask you to move into Natarajasana, or dancer pose, and when we do this, you can hold on to the inside of your foot, okay, and we'll move into our dancer pose. Okay. This is on express mode. Then we'll come back to center, okay, and we'll take that foot back, keeping the hips level, and we'll move into a warrior 3. From a warrior 3, we'll come down into our standing splits. And for those of us that have really open hips, there's a tendency to not bring that hip down. So bring it down and level. And then from here, small stance back. Okay. We'll come up for a pyramid pose. So we'll take a moment with our hips, and we'll come into chest expander here. Okay. And then from our chest expander, we'll release the arms, take them out, and we'll bend the front knee, and we'll come up on the back toe so we can really feel that front thigh engage. And then we'll press to root to rise to come all the way back up and through. So the best way to do balance is not to stare at something that's moving. So I invite you not to look at your screen. So hopefully you can hear me. I'll be watching you. Stand in Tadasana. Okay. Yeah, connect with your breath and catch the right foot behind you. Right, catch it on the inside for the shoulder rotation, and then tuck your tailbone. So you get a little bit more sensation through the quadricep. Yeah, you can mudra this with your left hand if you wish. So place the thumb and finger, whichever finger you want, together. And then kick back through your right foot as you lift up the heart and come into a fuller expression of your dancer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then inhale, gently bring the knees through. Release your hands and place the arms out in front of you, palms face up. Yeah, and then exhale, slowly take that right leg back as you come into your warrior 3 and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Allow the hands to come down to the ground. Level your hips, especially those with really open hips. And then inhale, lift that right leg up in our standing splits. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then gently place that right leg down a medium distance behind you. And let's inhale, lift up the torso. Yeah, so you have space between your feet in preparation for pyramid pose. So square your hips in front of you and maybe do a little bit of movement just to square the hips, and then interlace the fingers behind your back, lengthen the spine, and exhale, pivot at the hips and forward fold. 3, 2, 1. Release the arms, take them out in front of you, bend that left front knee. Yeah, and come up on the right toes and lift up to warrior 3 here. 3, 2, 1. And then inhale, gently bring that right knee through nice and steady. And exhale, gracefully release to the ground for your Tadasana. Pause. Feel the energy. The energy is the electricity. Sometimes we move so quickly through things, we forget to pause and feel the light. Connect with your breath. Let's do the other side. Okay? So let's catch the left foot behind you. Find your drishti. Catch the left foot on the inside. Tuck the tailbone. Perhaps the right hand is mudra-sized, thumb to a finger, whichever finger feels good. And then kick back and come into your dancer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Super steady, slowly inhale. Bring the knee through to center. Arms out in front of you, palms upwards, like you could receive some sort of fabulousness, and then lean back or press back to your warrior 3. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale the hands down to the ground. Level the hips, standing splits. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently place that left foot a medium distance to the ground behind you. Angle the foot. Inhale, come all the way up, lifting the torso up. Take a moment, square your hips. Okay. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, pivot at the hips, forward fold, pressing the big toe of the left foot down and back. Your right heel down. Exhale, release the hands. Yeah, and then take the arms out in front of you, palms face up, bend the front knee, come up on the back toes. Feel that thigh engage. And then lift up from the ground up to your warrior 3. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. And then inhale nice and slowly, making your way through to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Feel free to close your eyes in mountain pose. Just feeling energy moving through you, feeling heat, feeling warmth. Perhaps you even feel electricity, rivers of light moving through you. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, bowing down in gratitude for this moment. Inhale, look forward to the future, but release the grasping of it. Exhale, let the past slide off your back. Plant your hands, step back and through vinyasa, plank, lower push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And push the sit bones back behind you, lengthen the spine. And from here, I'd like you to make your way through to seated. So you can step, hop, or crawl your way through. And seated Dandasana with the legs extended out in front of you. I'd like to pause here for a moment. This is where I would like to come down into Sarvangasana. So if you know shoulder stance is not right for you, please take yourself to some wall space or tree space. Otherwise, if you're a practitioner of shoulder stance, I'd like you to have a nicely, neatly folded blanket. Okay? And I'd like you to take it down your mat. And then I'd like you to fold your mat over top of it. So a nice, clean line. So you can do this, but still watch what I'm doing. So don't come into this yet. I'd like you eventually to lie back so that my shoulders, the edge of my shoulders are in line with the mat. So there's support for my neck here. Okay? And then from here, oopsies, silly me. Okay, so from here, I'm going to have the arms beside me. I'm going to create a uni leg, and I'm going to press and lift and get my hands under my low back. Okay. And we're just we can bring the elbows in a little bit closer, but we'll just come into a half shoulder stance so we can reverse the flow of energy in the body of our electrical system. Okay, so either legs up the wall, okay, or you've got the nice fold in your mat with a blanket. Come to lying supine on your back. Okay, if you're on the floor, legs extended, arms right tight beside you, you can create your uni leg pointing the toes away. And on the inhalation, you can double leg lift your legs up, getting your hands under the low back. And we're not coming into a full shoulder stance. We're coming into a half. Yeah. And so pause and just breathe here. And I'd like to hold here for a little bit. If you need to come out of this before I say, go ahead and come out of this when you need to. Okay, so aware of how the breath feels, aware of how the body feels being upside down, and just noticing the energy flow. So we're so used to our energy by gravity flowing in one direction all the time, and we're feeling the electrical current shift directions. Still connected with your breath. Okay, if you're comfortable, if you're in half shoulder stance and you'd like to come into plow, halasana, go ahead and take the feet towards the floor behind your head. If you're not, that's just fine. So from all the different places we are, we'll hold here for 5 more breaths. And then everybody can gently lower themselves all the way back down to the ground. Supine, flat on your back. Nice and slow, compassion and love. Once you are on your back lying supine, just pause there, aware of what you feel, especially through the spine. Okay, the roots of your nervous system physiologically, but also where the 3 major rivers, the bigger, wider rivers of your electrical currents live as well, where the prana is flowing more fluidly. So you can lie on your back, and you can feel free to adjust so you can move that blanket out if you had it, or if you were at the wall, just gently make your way back. Yeah, and then once you're lying on the floor, I would like to move into Matsandrasana or fish pose for a moment, so you can have the arms right tight beside you again. I like to tuck my thumbs a little underneath my sit bones, and then I hug my elbows so tight beside me. I point my toes away, Press into the elbows, lift the heart up off the floor, and possibly open my throat where the crown of my head comes towards the floor. Breathe here. If you'd like to extend your arms or lift your legs, you are more than welcome to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then nice and slowly lower that spine back down to the ground. Release and pause and feel. Notice all the vibrations and sensations. And then hug the right knee into your chest. Hug it in nice and tight and have the left hand on the right knee and the right arm wide open. And let's exhale that knee over the body towards the floor. Gaze point might go in the opposite direction of the knee, and just breathe here. So aware that we're lengthening the spine physiologically, releasing any compression from our back bends and from all of our work. But we're also opening up, we're lengthening the spine and opening up those major rivers so prana can flow fluidly. And that pranic energy connects us more intensely to joy, to higher vibrations of thoughts, of actions, of being. Inhale, bring that knee all the way back up to center. Hug it in nice and tight. Give a little squeeze, nose to knees, and then just gently release that right leg out in front of you. You can rock your feet side to side to reset the pelvis, and then hug the left knee in and hug it in nice and tight. Give a little squeeze, and then right hand on the knee, left arm wide open. Exhale, take the knee over the body towards the floor, and feel. And notice, how does this feel? Okay, so yoga is about coming out of the thinking body and into the feeling body. Feel the electrical currents, feel your light body. And if you're not used to checking into this body, imagine it. Imagine light rivers, over 72,000 of them flowing beautifully, calmly. Inhale, bring the knee all the way back up to center. Give it a little squeeze, both hands on the knee, nose to knee. And then relax your head and release this left leg out in front of you. Rock your feet side to side. And then back to center. From here, we're going to slide into your most comfortable Savasana position. So if you need to roll to your side to grab something different, or you want to place that blanket over top of you now, go ahead and make any of the adjustments that you need. Yeah, and take the time and the effort. So Savasana becomes the most important yoga pose. Okay, we've done the work. We've moved into stillness. Even the Bible says, be still and know. So we move into stillness and we become aware of that electrical current, that subtle energetic body moving through us. Tap into your breath and start to shape it. So just like we did in child's pose at the beginning when we were grounding, shape it into that softer, longer, smoother breath. And become aware of how that softer, longer, smoother breath feels. Yoga is meant to be experienced. It is not intellectual. Release the shaping of the breath. Breathe wherever you want to breathe, however you want to breathe.
And body awareness. So take your awareness to your feet. Soften your feet as much as you need to. Relax your feet. Relax the legs. Let the legs feel heavy, like they can sink. And let the kneecaps feel like they can float. Soften the low back. Allow the low back to sink down into the ground. Spaciousness through the low back. And then soften your belly. Relax the belly. Soften the belly. Soften the heart center. So feel the front side of the chest soften, the back of the heart center, the sides of the heart center soften, and heavy shoulders. Relax your shoulders, let the shoulders sink. Heavy arms, relax your arms, let the arms sink, and soften your hands. Relax the hands, soft hands. You can relax the neck. So feel the front side, the throat soften. The back side soften, the sides of the neck soften. Relax your jaw, soften the jaw. Let the tongue sink, let there be space between your teeth. And allow that top palate, the roof of your mouth, to feel like it can move up and into space. The space between the eyebrows becomes even bigger. The eyes feel soft and light, and the eyeballs feel like they can sink back and down. Soften through your forehead, spaciousness through your forehead. And allow the entire face to feel soft, to feel light. Relax your scalp, let the ears feel like they can sink. And take your awareness to a place in your body that needs extra love, extra compassion. And we'll practice our pranic healing technique. On the inhalation, visualize a white line going straight from your nostrils to that body part, infusing it with white light. Exhale, let it dissipate, let it go. Inhale, a white line straight from your nostrils to that body part, infusing it with white light. Exhale, let it dissipate, let it go. Keep working with your pranic healing technique. If you have multiple places to send the light, do one place at a time for a few breaths and then move on. Pranic healing technique, bring the mind in, white light.
Find yourself taking some deeper inhalations and exhalations. Noticing, feeling how that shifts. And then wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers, feeling the life force here. And then gently rock your head side to side or roll out the wrists and the ankles. And on the next inhalation, take a full body stretch like you were just waking up, and you can exhale, use sound and sigh it out. Let it go. You can bend the knees and place the feet on the ground. And then tap your feet so we get that physical electricity from the ground through our feet. And then gently roll to whichever side is calling your name and pause there for a moment. So aware of what you would like to leave behind and what you might like to take with you. And then gently making your way back up to Sukhasana or easy seated pose and come to a comfortable cross-legged position. We're going to move into a little bit of pranayama before our class is finished. So if your body is cooled down from our savasana, by all means, take a moment and have a blanket around you or a sweater. And we'll move into our alternate nostril breathing. Okay. So those major rivers, when we work with alternate nostril breathing, that's what we're connecting with. We're getting that light moving and flowing and compressing and building. So I'd like you to take your left hand in Yana Hand Mudra. So if you can't see what I'm doing, it is index finger, thumb together, 3 fingers extended, and those 3 fingers might represent way too much, way too little in perfect balance and harmony. But having that index finger and thumb together is an energy seal of connecting your higher and lower self. So connecting the chemical body, the physiological body, and the subtle energetic body, or connecting yourself to the divine. Okay. The opposite hand can be in Vishnu, so you can take the peace fingers down. If that doesn't work, just cross the peace fingers and place them on your third eye. Everybody can sit up nice and tall, so lift your sternum up towards the ceiling, and then just sit far enough back that you feel the abdominals engage and support the low back. Take a nice deep inhalation and exhalation through both nostrils. Notice how that feels. I'm going to walk us through 3 rounds of Anuloma Viloma, alternate nostril breathing. And because I know you have all practiced it before, we're going to inhale for 5. We're going to hold our breath for 10, and we're going to try exhale for 10. So a 1-2-2 ratio. Okay? Nice deep inhalation and exhalation again. Block the right, inhale through the left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Lock, hold. Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Exhale through the right nostril. Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Inhale through the right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Lock and hold. Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Exhale out the left. Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Inhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Lock and hold. Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Exhale right. Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Inhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5. Lock and hold. Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6, Om 7, Om 8, Om 9, Om 10. Exhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lock and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lock and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. Release your hands, your mudras. And just enjoy breathing in and out of both nostrils, but aware of any light or electrical sensations that you can feel. And then bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra, the seal of energy, and lift up your heart, wide open mind. Close your eyes and ever so gently tuck your chin. And I'd like to leave you with a quote from Meditations from the Mat, from Colin Barks and Michael Green. They say the human body is a complex spiritual instrument. Ordinary physical breathing is not only the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, it is the link to our light body. With every inhale, exhale, a parallel energy flow in our light body is occurring. Bringing attention to the outer breath cultivates a growing awareness of this inner breath, harmonizes these interpenetrating bodies, and quiets the mind. The breath, in breath, the visible and the invisible worlds meet. And gently opening up your eyes. And thank you for meeting me. Namaste. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll turn off the recording and turn your microphones on so I can say goodbye. Namaste.